while since we've done a to the point video, but I figure since there's a lot more home time these days, I'm going to go ahead and kick a few out, as well as I'm working with contacting a few guests to get a few guests on here as well. So anyway, welcome back. Phil with No Limits Archery and Alpha Bow Hunting here. For those of you who have been in a closet, or just not in Colorado, I guess is a better way to say it, the shop, No Limits Archery, is temporarily closed right now for the statewide kind of stay-at-home order. So with that being said, you know, those of you who have been coming to the shop and shooting, we are closed right now, also on the outdoor range. We initially thought we were going to be able to stay open for the outdoor range on a limited basis, and things have gotten to be a little bit more difficult to make that happen, and we just don't want to put anybody in harm's way or make any situations worse. So we're going to go ahead and just sit tight. Right now it says April 11th, I believe, is the date that the current order is in place till. Now that could change, but we'll keep everybody updated. Real quick before I move on, if you have an order or you've custom ordered something and it's going to be coming into the shop here the next week or two, we're still going to be receiving those items. If it's something that we can either ship to you or we can coordinate a pickup, we'll still work with you on that. Technically, we're close to the public, but on an appointment basis for a quick pickup where it's not again, not opening the shop to normal business, we're going to try to work that out. So if there's something else, I know we don't have our online store really well set up, but if there's something else in the shop that you're like, hey, can you ship me X? You know, do you have any of these broadheads? Do you have any of that? Can you ship this to me? Absolutely. Email me, phil@nolimitsarchery.com, and we'll see what we have in stock. We'll see what we can do. You know, we can get some stuff turned around fairly quickly and ship some stuff out to you. So if you're interested in that. Next, again, there's been a lot of time. I got to tell you that I've redone my wife's closet. I've redone my closet. I've cleaned a lot of the things that the list of honeydews that's been out there for a little while is starting to get shorter. Hence, I have some time to do some more videos, and I edited my elk hunt. If you guys haven't got to see that with Dominic and I have that up on our YouTube channel, on the Alpha Bow Hunting YouTube channel, where my son Dominic was with me on that elk hunt from last year. So check that out. It's a short video, about 10 minutes, so not super long. In addition to that, I've also had some time to freshen up the websites. I've started with the Alpha Bow Hunting website, took some of the older backgrounds, decoration, if you will, simplified it, add some new pictures on there. In addition to that, I used to have, I believe it was 6 or 7 online courses that I was selling anywhere from $15 up to $125 for the whole package. And with the current times and situation of what's going on, having to postpone some workshops and cancel some, I have started to add some of those video courses to the website for free. The Building Blocks 1.0 and 2.0, which, if you're familiar with what we offer at No Limits Archery in the shop, it's technically the bow hunting 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0 of what's the in-store workshops, and those are going to be free. When we get into the 3.0 series of the Alpha Pyramid, if you're familiar with that, where we got into essentially what the all-day workshop was about, that's the first few videos of that. I'm going to tweak those a little bit, redo some of those, and I'm going to add those on the free section. And then from there, I'm going to create a membership section on the Alpha Bow Hunting website. That's going to be a yearly membership, very simple. Essentially what it's going to unlock is the rest of that 3.0 course and the situational bow hunting 4.0. I have some guests that are going to be coming on to help me continue the 4.0 offering, if you will, on the situational bow hunting side, to where we're going to get more in-depth with some of the specific topics that I really feel are valuable to help people be more successful. So all that's coming. By the time this video goes up, the Building Blocks 1.0 course, 2.0 course, the Shooting Log course, and I have a bow tuning basics, which is kind of long and boring and drawn out, that I'm probably not going to put up yet. But what I will put up is, I believe it was a year and a half ago, Bo and I filmed a bow build that we did, essentially from square one, putting the bow together, getting it to paper tune, and talking about a few things on that build. I'll load those videos as well. Going back to the membership side of things, some of the content, some of the new content is going to be video form like this. Some of it is going to be audio form as well. So I'm trying to do as much as I can from both standpoints, because I know it's not easy for everyone to consume content from the video standpoint. However, a lot of what we do with our videos are how-tos, you know, especially once I get into some of the new offerings that we're going to be doing on the videos this year for the membership side. They get into the emergency bow repairs in the field, the game recovery kind of outline, if you will, or the general bullet points we're going to be talking about a lot with that. Some of that content is going to be valuable to probably see the video. The audio version is going to be out as well. So if it's something you just want to listen in on, I'm going to have a couple of guests come in and help me with that as well. So those I'm really excited for. But there's a lot of new content coming, and like I said, I've essentially restructured the way I've priced things. I mean, in full disclosure, the Building Blocks 1.0 and 2.0 as standalone courses were, you know, $25 to $50 per course at one point in time. They're not that now, but still, I mean, essentially it's $50 to $60 worth of online courses that I'm giving you for free. The 3.0, 4.0 continuation, there's a lot of content on there that those courses were $150 independently at one point in time, and the membership price at this point, what I'm looking at is just trying to keep it at like $40 for the year, and you'll have access to those videos anytime you want, in addition to, like I said, a lot of the new content that we're going to be adding on there. So as far as other updates, I guess backing up just a touch as well, you know, we did have the Elk-Shaped Camp scheduled for late April. It looks like that's going to get postponed, but that's not 100% official yet. We've been talking with Dan and Jesse over at Anchor that was going to be helping out with some stuff, and it looks like that's the case, but we'll keep everybody updated as we get closer. In addition to that, the Alpha Bowhunting Challenge, the first event that's supposed to be happening May 16th, possibly could get postponed as well. So we just don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty right now. The decision on the Alpha Bowhunting Challenge, possible postponement or, you know, moving of events, is going to be something I hope to be able to make within the next 30 days. So this video right now is getting recorded towards the end of March. So hopefully by the end of April, or if not even a little bit sooner, we know if we're going to be bumping that first date or canceling, whatever we're going to be doing. I'll be letting everybody know as soon as we can. So just make sure I got a list here of notes that I wanted to chat about. And yeah, that was the biggest thing. Oh, in addition to the membership exclusive side, I will have the audio version of my first two books that I wrote also on there as well. So if you want to check out just the audio files. So like I said, the membership site, trying to just make it a little bit more user-friendly, cost-friendly, if you will, to where it's one price kind of gives you everything we have access to on the higher end of the Alpha Pyramid, and in addition to the new content. And that's something that I was hoping to get started since last year, got delayed a little bit on a few things. Again, time is now a little more readily available. So we're going to be looking to add that down the way. If you well, I guess let me back up. Subscribe to the newsletters if you can also. NoLimitsArchery.com on that website has its own newsletter. AlphaBowhunting.com, I also have a separate list for that. I'll be updating people with more information as we go. This first video I'm actually going to be attaching to the No Limits Archery newsletter, so if you're watching it from here, this is essentially some of that first portion of the updates that we're going to be bringing you. So, like I said, there's a lot of topics that we're going to be covering. Let me open up my notes here just for a second and give you some of the topics. I'm not going to tell you who's all coming on yet, but in continuation, so let me set the stage, I guess, from Building Blocks 1.0, what you're getting in that course is basics. It's terminology. If you're a new bow hunter or you have a friend that's wanting to get into bow hunting, send them to the Alpha Bowhunting website, go to the coaching tab, scroll down, and right at the beginning you're going to start under Building Blocks 1.0. And it starts with, every video is labeled on there, video 1, 2, 3, 4. It goes over terminology from what's a quiver, how does it mount, what's the benefits of a 2-piece to a 1-piece, different components on a sight, why are things there. This is very much what we do in the 1.0 class in the shop, but it's valuable for those that are newer to archery and wanting to get some general, again, terminology and a general broad basis of what that information is. The 2.0 course gets more into the shot execution, anchor points, release tension. That more mirrors some of the content. That's kind of like that's the progression from the Targeting Buck Fever book, where it really gets more into understanding target panic and some of the methods that I like to coach and encourage people to pursue for target panic. There's a lot of good information out there. Other coaches that coach some of that stuff, I'll say that I agree with a lot of the stuff that's out there as well, and I disagree with some of it. And it's not for any other reason that people that I've worked with or my own problems that I've worked through, it's just different bases, I guess, different philosophy and different schools of thought. So just some of that information is now that I was coaching or selling people is now free on there. That's the Building Blocks 2.0 section. The 3.0 section are the Bowhunting 3.0, which really gets into tension release and hinge releases, is in that Building Blocks 2.0 on Alpha Bowhunting. So as you scroll down, you'll see the video titles. You can click on that if you're interested in that. Once you get into the 3.0, where we get into what the all-day workshops really were about, and it was helping you develop your effective range from a starting point, creating a baseline to where you have things lined out from your accuracy and your energy based off of our recommendations. It's not law, it's just our recommendations for vital size and what you should be identifying as an approved vital size to be adopting, right, for the field. At that point, we again create that baseline. So when the questions, I mean, so much of the questions that come into the shop are always, I think I want to go with more point weight. I think I need to get a different bow because whatever, the performance isn't that good. And those questions a lot of times could be answered by understanding how to create a baseline and seeing, yeah, I'm lacking energy, or my accuracy is not very good, or the combination of the two, and being able to see, is an equipment fix or purchase? Is it a form issue? Is it a combination of the two? Do I really need to go with a heavier arrow? Right now I have a 395 grain arrow. Do I need to go with a 500 grain arrow? And seeing how that directly affects your kinetic energy. We use kinetic energy primarily in our curriculum just because we have that Easton. It's a recommended amount of energy for specific size games, small game, medium game, large game, and we've adopted that as what we follow. There's more to it than that, so like I said, just scratching the surface, that's kind of what the 3.0 class starts with. That's going to be on the free section of the videos as well. Once we get into how we implement that, what we have coined as the alpha rule of thirds, how to adopt that, why the first third, second third, last third, understanding what the alpha DEA method is all about, and how to adopt those methodologies for a simple system that you can use in the field to help you understand green light, red light. That's really what most of that class is about. On the tail end of that, in the beginning of the situational bow hunting, we really start talking about, is this a good shot situation, right? We actually have animal scenarios where you've got an elk with and on the screen it says it's 37 yards or 45 yards. And based off of your baseline, your effective range, you start to implement understanding and identifying shot angles, shot situations, should you take, should you not take it, really speeding up that process, that the ability to make decisions quicker and not panic in a heightened moment of excitement. So in the continuation of that class, we talked about shot angles. We have a video on posture and form. We have a video on the approach. I had Brian Barney. I did a long-form interview with Brian Barney with Eastman's Elevated, where we break down some of his tips and tactics and what the best approach is, or what the best things to consider is for that last approach as you're getting closer into that animal. We also talked with Chris Rowe about animal behavior. Animal behavior is big in the 3.0 system because of all the things that the variables that it throws at us. So Chris Rowe is another guest that I'm going to be looking to add content with in the membership side of things as we move forward. But there's a ton of information out there already that's going to be on the membership side of this. And to add to it, point of aim versus point of impact, very important as well as you start understanding and honing. You talk about somebody that's trying to get into that top 10% of being consistently successful, right? Having consistent success regardless of the species, regardless of the season, regardless of the terrain. You start to see a person that has minimized variables, has a system in play, really understands their effective range, pays attention to their preparation. Not necessarily am I saying they're the best shooter, right? That's not it. Not necessarily are they the best athlete. That's not it either. It's being a good hunter, having good hunting instincts, having developed, your system, and knowing based off of the species, the approach. If you've elevated your level of success by really spending time early in the season scouting and hanging some tree stands or ground blinds to be in the right place at the right time, that's a great tactic. You may not be shooting past 30, 40 yards in some of those situations. So again, the system that we try to help you build is all about finding out what you need to do to be the most successful. If your accuracy just limits you out at 40, 50 yards because that's as good as you can shoot, well then let's build other things around you to help you be successful there. So again, point of aim versus point of impact, specific to species and situations within animal behavior. That's one of the topics we're going to be breaking down, and that topic may actually get broken down with multiple guests. Again, the continuation I already mentioned before about game recovery. I've really dove deep into understanding this on a micro level because of starting to train my dog Reese for game recovery. Having read multiple books now, and I can't tell you the amount of information I've tried to consume from people that have been doing this documented. The gentleman of the first book that I read, he talks about hundreds and hundreds of tracks that him and his dog were on and other people's dogs, and it's not just about the animal doing all the work. You as a handler have to be able to identify clues as well to make decisions in the field. And with that, it really starts with where the arrow impacted and what you see. What are your first signs? So I'm going to be going through the process of, I've already developed a little emergency repair kit that we started selling some in the shop that has a few essential items, some serving, an extra peep, a few small tools, a lighter, things like that, a tape measure. But I want to be able to add that information card that continues with the references that you need for your bow in case something gets out of whack. You can go back and look at your reference chart. In addition to that, on that same whether it's a trifold or it's a little small kind of a little bit bigger than a business card, 3 or 4 fold out section deal, where I want to have some basic, hey, if you see this, then you should do this, or this is the range of time you should wait. If you see this, what are the odds of you, really finding that animal, or what's the anticipated possible length of a track or duration that you might experience. So there's so much more information that I've just tried to start organizing and outlining, and honestly, I feel like that's what the 3.0 course I've been able to do well. Is just organize information, outline it, present it to somebody, get them to understand and say, okay, I see, yeah, maybe I don't need to buy new arrows, or I don't need to go with the 200 grains up front of my arrow. It's not what I need to do. It's not where I'm lacking in proficiency. So game recovery, I went down that rabbit hole. That's going to be covered in depth. In addition to that, we've got some additional topics that come into play with, again, the eliminating variables, sighting in, the sight-in process, the getting more into the math side of that problem solving or variable eliminating process, and that's something I'm excited about. And then just other topics from a few of the other industry professionals that we have relationships with some of the manufacturers. So right now I've got 9 different topics that we are have started, and I'm going to be adding to the membership side. And like I said, some of these I'm going to probably release the first 15 to 20 minutes of the audio portion of a podcast with some of these guests, and then at that point, that might be the dangling of the carrot, right, the teaser, and then when we really start breaking down more of what we're getting into this topic, it's going to be on the membership side. So there'll be some information that goes out for everybody to consume on this platform that we've been doing, the To The Point podcast and the YouTube channel. And like I said, there's going to be some information that's reserved for the membership side exclusively. So a lot of things to work on, and I'm excited. Let's just say I feel I have a good sense of focus with this stuff going on right now, because I myself, for the first, over the last 3 weeks to a month, it's just been odd. The uncertainty of the times, the what are you hearing on the news, and the the persuasion of emotions one way or the other from what we're being given. And again, a lot of it's through television primarily, of which I've chosen to stop consuming in many respects. So I've really went to YouTube and started hammering the podcast again, and I've almost begun to reconnect and refocus with what my goal has always been with No Limits Archery and Alpha Bowhunting, is to surround myself with a community of people that are like-minded, passionate, I would say maybe not super hardcore, but on the way to being there, or maybe they're already. Everybody's level of preparation and involvement is different, and I'm not here to judge you on that. If you can take 1 or 2 things from what I'm delivering information-wise and get value from it, then good. I hope that helps you in the field. And I really think that most people should look at consuming information that way anyway. If there's one little piece of information that you can take to implement into your system, and hone that skill and improve it, then you've really taken a lot from it. So excited to be working on this again, excited to be bringing you these videos. If something comes about, email me on the YouTube channel. You can leave comments below. I encourage you to. If you have not subscribed on the YouTube channel, please subscribe. I'm going to be trying to get this stuff back up on iTunes. I've let the podcast kind of fall through the way a little way. So it's going to be up on Podbean. It'll be up on Stitcher. We were up on iTunes for a little while, and then I have to go through the process of resubmitting for that. So that'll be in the works. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be adding quite a bit of content regularly, specifically right up now up front. And then as I nail down time slots for some of these guests to come on and do video interviews and that kind of thing, and edit that in its place, those will also be added on there. So anticipating the membership side of the website to be up by the 5th to 7th of April. It's just a website issue right now as I'm building all that as well myself and building that into the platform. And it will be on the alphabowhunting.com website. From No Limits Archery, I will have a link under the coaching section. I don't know whether it's going to be free videos or coaching, and it will link you over to the Alpha Bowhunting website to the appropriate page. But it's a work in progress. But like I said, it's been fun to really get my hands in this again. For the longest time, a lot of my time got pushed back to my other family business, and of which is still ongoing. But I just this needs more of my time right now, and like I said, I feel refocused and reconnected with a lot of why I started doing a lot of this in the past. So I hope you guys enjoy. Feel free again to leave comments, send me some messages if there's some other topics that you guys are looking to get information, cover again. Maybe even specific questions that as I get other guests on, if I feel they're pertinent questions for that specific guest, I'll throw that question out there as well. Because it's always great to get perspective, right, from someone else. Not that I'm doing everything perfect or somebody else doing everything perfect. It's not that at all. It's just getting perspective from other people's experiences, mistakes, hardships, as well as, again, taking just little pieces of nuggets of information from somebody and just packaging it into your own package and seeing if we can be more successful. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. With everything that we're doing here, I just encourage you to stay positive, stay healthy, stay safe right now in these times. Shoot your bow. If you don't have a ton of place to shoot your bow, then make a string bow. Keep working your release. Keep working the execution part of feeling the shot. And what you can, because I really feel that before long we're going to be hitting the ground running again. And getting ready for season, stomping it out there again in season. And as hunters, times like this are more, just further proof that being successful in the field is important. Is it everything? No. But being able to pack some meat in your freezer when the times are uncertain is a huge insurance, to yourself and your family and your friends that you can maybe share some of that meat with as well. And not to mention, I'd like to say that I think amongst the bow hunting community, the panic factor right now is a little bit lower than the rest of the world, because we're used to being out, in the woods. We're used to having to understand, is the weather, is it time to build a fire? Do we need to seek shelter? We're not connected to the internet. We don't have access. We don't have phone signal. And being at least at some point in time throughout the year in tune with that stuff, times like this where we are limited with what we are able to enjoy as bonuses I think it's a little bit easier for most of us hunters and bow hunters to adapt and evolve and, not panic. So that's all I got to say on this episode. Like I said, we're going to be hammering more as we move forward, and that's it. So as always, dream big, shoot straight, and we'll see you guys on the next one.